Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Nick and Friends. This time, it's with my friend Lizzy. And I met Lizzy pretty early on into moving to Seattle. It was like the middle of, or beginning of fall 2022, end of summer, something like that. And we technically met at Golden Gardens Beach Pickup, Ultimate one day. And then found out a few days later that we were on the same team league randomly. Both of us were pretty new to Seattle. We'd both got there in 2022. I'm not entirely sure how they managed to get onto Beach Owls. Probably in just a unique way as I did. But anyway, I already knew they were very fun people, Lizzy and her partner Makar. But I specifically knew I liked both of them a lot on a very specific day. It was Halloween 2022, and it was freezing cold. I remember it was one of the first nights that I'd been in Seattle and thought, oh shit, it's actually pretty cold here, and I'm going to have to get used to that. And we were out playing a Frisbee game, and because it was Halloween, Lizzy and Makar showed up in costume, dressed as zombies, and they were wearing like torn up, skimpy clothing. And I just remember thinking, like, these people commit to a bit. And obviously that's something that I have always appreciated in people. And yeah, ever since then we've played on the same team. Lizzy and I feel like have both gotten closer as friends over the last couple of years. We've also kind of grown in Frisbee together. I've gotten a lot better as a cutter. Lizzy's gotten a lot better as a handler. And it's been specifically fun improving with Lizzy on Beach Owls and on our club team Bop. Unfortunately, Lizzy and Makar are moving to Minneapolis in the fall, so right at the end of our club season. So there's about a little over a month left of their time in Seattle. So I was really glad I got to squeeze this Nick and Friends episode in. I'm gonna have to do one with Makar too before he leaves. But this was a really nice one. Lizzy and I went to the park. You'll be able to hear some planes fly by overhead. And I was on my way to go to the zoo after. So we got to kind of squeeze it in. Anyway, I chose, there was really only one song I could choose to intro Lizzy, as evidenced by their wedding that I attended, and by one of the first responses to one of the questions that Lizzy mentions. How could I not include this quintessential song? All right, without further ado, here's Lizzy. Hey Lizzy, welcome to an episode of Nick and Friends.
Glad to be a friend.
We're sitting in Judge's Park.
Actually, Sam Smith Park.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Body shop.
And we've poured some vodka shots.
I have.
We also have cognac and a couple others that we'll save next time.
Some weird assortment of items.
Okay, so how about I'm gonna ask you a question, and then we'll take a shot so you can think about it
while I take my shot.
Yeah.
Great.
And this question, I don't know, I've just kind of settled on this being the opening question for everybody. I think it's really interesting.
Okay.
Lizzy, what's your greatest athletic feat?
My greatest athletic feat. Okay, I'm gonna hand you your glass. There you go.
Thank you.
Greatest athletic feat. I'm gonna chase it with this peach wedge. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, also, it is 12:20, so at 12:40, we'll do another one.
Okay. Greatest athletic feat. I think I think I have to say, going to play at the national championship 2 weeks ago. I don't think that I can top that in terms of like textbook what is athletic success, right? Like I was on a frisbee team. We qualified to go to the national championship. We went to the national championship. I feel like I played well. We won a game. We broke seed. Like in that sense, that's probably like on paper my greatest athletic feat. I'm trying to think if there's a cooler answer of something that's like from when I was young. I played golf in high school.
I did too.
So like not the coolest thing. Yeah.
I wasn't proud to be on that team.
Yeah.
Less proud now.
I played soccer in high school and our team was so terrible. So also like I can't think of anything. I've run 2 half marathons. Maybe like, so I signed up for a half marathon, an all-women's half marathon in Washington, D.C., which I've heard wonderful things about. And it was scheduled for like May 2nd, 2020. And then it got canceled, obviously. And then they mailed us our medals. And I was like, fuck. Well, now if I have this medal, I have to fucking run it because I feel bad. Yeah. So I ran 13.1 miles alone in Baltimore, and it sucked. But I did achieve that, and that felt like a mental win, especially at like COVID times of just like everything is awful.
Was it in May? That same.
I think the medals came in like late April, early May, and then I was like, well, no, I gotta fucking pick a day to do this.
Yeah. Must have also been kind of eerie, like running around.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think I got up at like 4 a.m. because I was like, I don't want to deal with. Yeah. Even if there's people out for a walk, I don't really want to deal with that. Mm-hmm. It was not a good time. Like looking back, I'm like, because I'd like kind of stopped training because I was like, I'm not gonna run this. So it was a choice. Yeah, I think that's my answer.
Does getting to Masters Nationals feel like a culmination of like a lot of hard work? Were you actively like training during the season and like strengthening, conditioning, working on your throws?
I think so. Mm-hmm. It feels like I definitely like this Masters season compared to last year and the year before. Definitely, if anything, I had very clear goals for myself. And like the goal was make it to Nationals, win a game at Nationals, break seed. And I was willing to like do whatever I needed to do to make that happen. Whether that was like cross training or, tossing or whatever, dealing with like if someone on the team was like being dramatic and being like, okay, yeah, let's have this conversation, like putting emotional effort into it as well. And it's nice to also just kind of be like, now I feel like I can like tie the bow and be like, I did the thing. I like, again, achieved like on paper what the goal is. And now if I never play that level again, I'm not going to be like bummed about that because I did it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, and I guess I want to preface this question too by being like, you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. I can even like edit this part out if you don't want it in it. But like, do you feel like you felt more connected to Old Soul than Bob? Or did you have more passion for that team than Bob? Or was it equal?
Oof. I think at like peak times, so like in the season, regularly going to practice, regularly seeing people, I think it's the same.
Yeah.
I think that might be a product. I don't know. I think there is a part of me that resists, like, when you're surrounded by people who are maybe a little out of touch with what the reality is of an outcome, right? Like, there's a part of me that then like really wants to dig my heels in and be like, you're fucking wrong. Like, we're never going to achieve that. So now I'm going to like resist you and resist this effort. And I think people on Bob maybe do that a little bit more, have unrealistic expectations for themselves than people on Old Soul. And so I think, and maybe that's not true anymore. I don't know I don't know a lot of the current people on the team, but like, yeah, I I think I have this part of me that's kind of like, you know, I'm gonna prove you wrong because like your grasp of reality is wrong, which is like pretty fucked up, because at the end of the day these people are just trying to like set goals for themselves, and like it's not really my place to like make them feel like they can't achieve them. If that makes sense.
It does. And I kind of grappled with that too, of like what I want for myself on the team, what I want for the team, and then even what I want for like, you know, people on the team who have that ambition, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hopefully we're all figuring it out in our own way.
Yeah.
Especially this season, I feel like, as our goals have been a little more competitive than they used to be.
Yeah.
New question. What's a friendship that you regret losing at some point in your life?
Tell me more about losing. Like, don't talk to them at all.
Not necessarily. It could just be like you drifted apart.
Okay.
Could be like you got in a fight.
Yeah.
Could be like even like a really friendship you had when you were really young and just moved away, and like that's just circumstances.
Yeah. I mean, the immediate person that comes to mind is like one of my best friends who's a bridesmaid in my wedding, my friend Glennie, who is she's from La Crosse. We're from the same town. We did not go to the same elementary, middle school. We went to the same high school, and then we both went to Madison for college. We were like close in high school, but not like best friends, hang out every weekend close. And then in college, we kind of grew together. Was that junior year, I think? Because she was staying for the summer and she needed a summer sublet, and I had like a place at our apartment. And then we got like super into like running and like eating really healthy, and we just got hot. We both got really hot that summer, and it was really fun to be really hot. It was awesome. And yeah, and then since then we've just like been much closer. She became Catholic in college. Her college roommate freshman year was Catholic.
After becoming hot?
Pre-hot. Okay. Freshman year, yeah, pre-hot. I mean, please, we're both hot. Let's be honest about that. But like, yeah, after pre-becoming like mega hot. And so she became Catholic, kind of started hanging out with Catholic people, which is cool. Very, very different vibe. And then met her now husband through that community, and they have 3 kids. They live in Milwaukee. She's in her radiology residency, and her in-laws are very conservative, and I think like her parents are probably more conservative than my parents. And in like February of when did Voldemort get elected last? 2024? Is that 2024? Yeah, so January of 2025, February of 2025, after the inauguration. Because, like, he got elected in November. And then it was, like, fine-ish for a little bit. Like, I saw her at Christmas that year, Christmas 2024. And then February 2025 rolls around, and I was like, wow, I haven't spoken to her since seeing her at Christmas. Why is that? And because normally we like call and FaceTime and stuff, and I was like, oh, it's because I'm fucking pissed off, and the thought that she could have potentially voted for this guy infuriates me. And I sent her an email instead of calling her, and she felt like very disrespected by that. I think she felt like I did not I wasn't trusting in her, I guess. Like, at the end of the day, no matter what, like, we can work this out. And I think through email instead of through like in-person conversation, that was, while that was still my intention, I don't think it came across that way. And then we kind of just like emailed back and forth for a while. And in my opinion, quite a few of her responses indicated that she was out of touch with reality in some ways. And then if I called that out, she didn't like to hear that. And then she would kind of go back to like, you don't trust me. Like, she has never confirmed or denied if she voted for him or not, because in her opinion, she shouldn't have to do that if we're friends, which I think is a fair response. but at some point she just kind of was like, I don't have the capacity to have this conversation. And I was like, that's also pisses me off, because this is the time to have these conversations and like make our world better. So we've been trying. She has 3 young kids. Like I said, she's super busy with residency. She does not have ample time to like have an hour-long FaceTime every other week. So we're trying to catch up. We've like chatted a few times this summer. I try to like text her, but like sometimes my texts go like weeks without her responding just because she's so busy.
Does it feel genuine, or does it feel like, I don't know, like a Band-Aid solution for the time being?
It's definitely not back at the level. For me, it doesn't feel like we're back at the level that we were. And I don't, if the trajectory continues where like one of us doesn't have the time to have like real, genuine conversations, and one of us isn't willing to have deep conversations, I'm like, I don't know if we can ever get back to that, which is a bummer, because like she is like a good friend and she is a good person, and I think she's just her brain is occupied by raising 3 kids and getting through residency, understandably. I don't think she has the capacity to like deal. So that's a bummer. I don't know if it'll ever be the same.
I can't imagine this is the case, but do you think like things might have turned out differently if you had made a phone call instead of an email in the very beginning?
I think it would have been worse initially, but then like the first 10 minutes of that conversation probably would have been really pretty bad. Because the reason I didn't want to call her is because I knew I was going to yell at her, and I didn't want to yell at her, so that's why I sent the email. So I think the first bit would have been worse, but then I think like we both would have been able to like process it a little bit maybe better, because we would have had that moment where we were both pretty mad at each other that we could have come back to and been like, that sucked, and I should have done this, and I shouldn't have done this. Whereas I think with the current state, neither of us really feel like we did anything wrong, and the other person feels like that they were wronged. So, yeah. So I don't know.
Could have been.
Yeah.
It also might have been that you ended up both yelling at each other, and then hung up in anger.
Yeah.
Maybe never talked again.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
Life's funny like that.
So now that we're moving back a bit closer, I'm kind of hoping that it'll be a little bit easier to see each other some more. Yeah.
What was your favorite toy as a kid?
Wow. Loved Barbies.
Oh, yeah?
Oh my gosh, my sister and I had so many Barbies. We had like the food court and like the house and like the minivan.
I think my sister had the food court.
The airplane. Yeah, my grandma, my dad's mom, should just buy us so much shit. I loved Barbies.
Was there a specific Barbie, or just like classic blonde Barbie?
I think we probably had like, at one point we probably had like 60 Barbies. Yeah. So I don't have a specific association with one. We had like the classic like pogo stick, hula hoops, jump rope, like rollerblade. Like I just have so many memories of just kind of like pulling all these toys out of the garage and just like throwing them in the front yard and just like cycling through them. Like, I'm gonna hula hoop now. Okay, now I'm gonna like draw with chalk on the sidewalk. Okay, now I'm gonna like jump rope. Now I'm gonna like now I'm gonna rollerblade up and down the street. Just like weird outdoor stuff. My mom, I'm sure, would be like, oh my gosh, you loved this, you love this. Trying to think of other things we did a lot of pretend play, honestly, like with there's a girl who lived down the street. We would pretend we were like wolves. Yeah. We would like run around
like on all fours.
No, we wouldn't run around on all fours, but like mentally we were running around on all fours. Yeah. And then
you're like, my favorite toy, my brain.
And then pretend play, is research shows really good for kids. Yeah, and then, like, with my sister and my 2 cousins who are right around our age, like the 4 of us, when we get together, we did like a lot of pretend play, like, being animals in the wilderness and like building forts and, dress up clothes, costumes. The costumes have been a thing since a very young age. Yeah.
Normally this next question is a single question, but I'm going to turn it into a two-parter.
Ooh.
Is there an essay you remember writing for school that you're really proud of or remember well? And then the second part of that is going to be, is there a student's essay that you've read that really resonated with you or you remember well?
Yeah. I think English was not the humanities was not my thing. I was a math and science girly in high school. And like all of my close friends, I either had like friends who were good at literally everything, or they preferred the humanities. So I was in my friend group. I felt like I was always like the kind of bottom tier writer. And did you say high school or school in general?
Any time in school. It can even be college if you want.
Okay. The high school essay that stands out is senior year, after the AP test is done. You know, you have a month of school left-ish. And the senior project was you had to read a novel from a list. And then you had to write an essay about it. And I was not at school the day that we picked the books because I was probably at a soccer tournament. And I told my friend Ryan, just pick a book off the list for me. I was like, I don't care, just pick a book. He picked Native Son, which is a very good book, but it's a chunker. Mm-hmm. It's a big book. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fuck you. And I, at the time I had no desire to read that book. I was like, this is not my subject. I don't want to read this. I'm already going to college. I don't give a fuck. But I started reading the book and I really liked the book. And then I read the whole book. And I remember I never stayed up late to finish homework. And I remember I think I was up till like 3 a.m. that night because I was like, I actually want to finish the book. And I was writing the essay throughout reading because I knew that I didn't have time to wait until I finished reading to write the essay. And yeah, I read the whole book and I wrote a great essay because I got like a perfect score, and my teacher had written I don't know if he talked to me after or he wrote it on the top, but he was like, thank you for actually reading the text, and like your work shows that you actually like did the work. And it's like, yeah. So that was cool. And then I think in college I took an education policy class, really hard. Every day it was a mega lecture. So it was like an hour 45 lecture twice a week. And the professor would come in and he'd come in 10 minutes early and he would fill the chalkboard with the outline of what he was going to discuss. So the chalkboard just had like Quaker education, 1, New York, 1A, some name of some random middle school, and then like some name of some random, so like very much an outline. And then on the projector he would just project images or like graphs or things, and then he just talked to us for an hour and 45 minutes and frantically writing notes and like trying to keep it all organized. And for his final we had to write 3 blue book essays, so like no idea what the questions were going to be, and I got an A in the class. Like I left that final feeling like so awesome. So those are the ones that stand out for me.
Did you enjoy that class, or was it just...
Yeah. I mean, it was ridiculous, but yeah. I ended up getting an ed policy like minor because I was like, I should know more about education. Okay, and then student essays. Oof, I've read a lot of bad student essays in my work. It's tricky because now with AI and stuff, like every single kid with a disability is using AI because it's so hard for them to access what they're, and I'm not talking about kids with like autism who are really impacted and like are non-speaking. Like those kids aren't writing essays, those kids are practicing like writing their name, right? Like I'm talking about kids with learning disabilities who are like in an English class with other high schoolers, and they're just struggling to access things. I did read, one of my students this year had to write an essay for, I think it was English, kind of like they read their last unit was like autobiographies or biographies or something, and then they got to write an essay like about themselves, and he like wrote about having autism, and he's like a kid who like could totally go to college and like get a job and is like self-aware enough to be like, oh yeah, I have this thing and it impacts me in this way. And he was just like, he was so proud of it. And so because he was so proud of it, and he definitely didn't use AI, even though there were, you know, lots of grammar things and things that needed fixing, like it just inherently was like a great thing. So that was probably it. Yeah.
Okay, it's 12:40. So time for the next shot.
Okay, there might only be one Tito's worth left.
Okay, I'll do cognac if you want Tito's.
Let's see.
Um,
Using up.
Nice, perfect. And before we move to phase 2 questions, which
are they harder?
They go a little deeper.
Am I talking too much? Do you want to talk more? Okay,
perfect. I do want to ask one last phase 1 question.
Yeah.
What's the worst purchase you've ever made?
Oh my gosh, Milk. This is a personality trait that I think would surprise people. I often make terrible purchasing decisions. Like pretty. I think like Makar isn't even aware of how often that happens actually, because I'm low key embarrassed about it. So man, the list is probably extremely long. I mean, I have bought so many like clothing items that I'm like, that's so cool. That's like the coolest pair of pants ever. That's the coolest shirt ever. And then I've never worn it. Like so many things. And I just feel like a fucking idiot. So that, you said stupidest?
Just worst.
Worst.
Yeah,
oh.
Cheers, by the way.
Oh yeah. Wait, I gotta get my peach ready. It was actually, would recommend.
Yeah, I'll do it this time.
The peach chase is good.
Well, those bikers going by like fucking taking shots at like 12:45 p.m. on a Wednesday. What the fuck?
Yeah, and you're pregame in the zoo. Yeah, worst purchase. I mean, I'm sure there's so many things. I can't think of anything specific, but I'm sure there's so many things where I was like, what the hell? Why did I buy that? That's stupid. Yeah. Yeah.
What's an encounter with a stranger that you'll never forget?
Oh, God. I guess, yeah, I gotta go with the first one that comes to mind. When I was living in Baltimore, so I lived in, you know, town. They're all like brick, kind of 2-story, 3-story town, row home type style. Solid grid system. And then because it's a solid grid system and all of these houses are like touching each other in a row, there's all these like alleyways. And there's just certain parts of the city that you don't walk in the alleyways. It's just like common sense. Where I was living, the school that I worked at, so it's like my street, the school that I worked at was literally 1 block away. And you could only enter either through the parking lot side or the main entrance side. And the main entrance side was at the end of the alleyway. And like the area where I lived, alleyway was fine to walk through, like, not a problem. Go north of where I was living like a few blocks, and then I probably wouldn't be walking through the alleyways. But like that's how I walked to school every day. Like got out the front door, 1 minute walk down the alleyway, and then I was at work. It was fucking amazing. During COVID, we weren't in person, but I signed up to run testing because we still had to test the kids, because every 3 years you need to do testing for like federal requirements for eligibility for services, and they needed people to do in-person testing, and that my school was one of the sites, and I was like, well, I fucking live right here, like I'll just do it. So I would like Thursday mornings I would walk over there and meet with kids from all over the county. Like it wasn't just kids who went to my school that I knew, it was kids from all over the place, and we were in like, you know, we were masked and face shielded, and I had to wear gloves, and it was, you know, this whole thing. And I remember one morning, get up, sun is out, it's like 8 a.m. I'm walking down the alleyway, there's a guy approaching me from the other end of the alleyway. There's like a whole construction crew like 20 yards from away from me. You know, they're parking their car. They just got to their job site. Like, literally, like morning, morning. Like, birds are singing. Totally normal morning. And the guy walking towards me asks me for directions. And I was like, oh, yeah, you just got to go that way. And then he said something like, I don't even remember the exact words, but he said something to the effect of like, if you don't give me all your money, I'm going to shoot you or something. And I just, in that moment, I was just like, I just kind of looked around and I was like, but you're not though. Because like, these workers are right there. The sun is out. I'm like, got my little work backpack and like, clearly I'm like going to work. He had his hand in like a sweatshirt pocket and I was like, there's not a gun in there. Like, there might have been, but didn't really seem like there was. And I was just like, I think I said to him, oh, I don't have any money. And he was like, no, like, you need to give me your phone then. And I was like, I don't have my phone with me. I'm going to work. And, you know, and in that moment, I'm sure it was like a fight or flight response. And for whatever reason, based on all of the variables, I was very confident that fight was the response. Like, I had no desire to just run away. Because obviously I could have done that as well, right? If I had just started running, he wasn't going to chase me. He wasn't going to do anything. He wasn't sober. So, like, I don't know. My brain and body were just like, fight. That's the response. And then he goes like, I was like, yeah, I don't have my phone with me. I'm going to work. And he was like, oh, okay, I was just kidding.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And he was like, I got you. And I was like, weird joke. Have a good day. Right. And then I like kept walking. Yeah, it was wild.
I'd like to think you instilled the fight response in him.
Yeah.
This girl doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. It was wild. And then I like went and, you know, worked with 4 random little children.
Yeah.
Used all of my adrenaline to like run those sessions.
Oh man.
And then I went home and at the time I had, you know, a roommate. There were 3 of us in the house, but one of us had like a bubble with other people, so they weren't in the house. And he was like, how's work? How was the testing? And I was like, well, the testing was fine, but this really fucking weird thing happened to me. And I told him about it, and he was just like, he's like, I can't tell you that you did the right thing. I mean, you did do the right thing because you're fine and he didn't rob you. But like, yeah, it's fucking crazy. So that's probably it.
Damn.
Yeah. It was crazy. Got ya! I was like, yeah, okay.
I wonder if that's just like a last minute, like, please don't call the cops on me.
Yeah, I don't know.
That I know you have.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm sure I have more substantive interactions with strangers that were weird that I can think of. But in terms of just, yeah, that's probably going to be the winner. And, like, my parents do not know that story, and I will never tell them. They'll never listen to this podcast, but they don't need to know shit like that.
Yeah, you said they're a little more conservative, right?
I think they're just more, like, the big cities are the Wild West to them.
Yeah, if you told them that story, they'd be like, we demand you move next door to us.
Yeah, they'd be like, that's not a safe place for you to be. Yeah. Well, I've walked down the alley. 1 out of, I worked there for 3 years. 1 out of 400 days. It's a pretty good track record, I would say.
What's your favorite candy?
Oh. Okay, baseline answer is chocolate. Have we talked about sweet versus savory candy? Have we had this discussion?
Wait, what is savory candy?
Well, so the discussion is like there's words that you use to describe all these different flavors of candy, but like, like where does like mint go? Is mint fruity? Is mint sweet? Is mint savory? It's like these categories that we have for like desserts. Like, what does it actually fall under? Like caramel, I would say is savory.
Okay.
Or more savory. Or more chocolatey than not chocolatey.
Well, I've always broken candy down into like fruit or chocolate.
Okay. Basically. What about mint? Where's mint go?
I'd put it in fruit.
See, I'd put it in chocolate.
I'm not opposed to that.
I know, right? Weird.
It is weird.
Yeah. But I'd say chocolate, baseline.
Savory sounds just more like classy to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, maybe that's how I'd break it down. It's
York peppermint patty. Savory?
Like, yeah,
or sweet?
Savory. Yeah, it's a little more classy. A little more like,
okay. Okay.
Post-dinner.
Yeah.
Sweets.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Anyway, if I am stopping somewhere at like a gas station or something, it's peanut M&Ms or an Almond Joy. Those are like
An Almond Joy?
Dude, love an Almond Joy. Those are like the like splurge, really want something candies. Like name brand, whatever. Big market chocolate. Non-chocolate would probably be just classic Skittles. I like them better than Starburst. I like them better than like sour gummy candies and stuff. But I rarely buy a bag of Skittles at the gas station. I usually buy an Almond Joy or peanut M&Ms.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I'd get Almond Joys all the time for Halloween trick-or-treating. But at the time, I just assumed I didn't like almonds. I just don't think
It's
I like
interesting
peanuts,
because I would say almond isn't the dominating flavor. It's coconut.
Oh, okay. Well, I hate coconut. Well,
Yeah.
I was about to say, like, I should try an Almond Joy.
No, if you don't like coconut.
But I hate coconut, so... Yeah, I still hate
See, coconut. I would put coconut in chocolate over fruit, which is crazy.
I probably would, too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, a little more classic. What's your least favorite attribute / behavior in people?
In people? Oh, God. There's many. I've gotten over the lateness thing. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, if you asked me that question, I think Makar has really helped with that. Like, I would say, like, being late drives me insane. But, like, now, that doesn't bother me as much. Yeah. Because Makar's just like, people are doing their thing. Like, it's fine. Leave them alone. Like, unless it's like, you have to be here for a ticketed event at 7 p.m., I wouldn't worry about it. And usually when there's a ticketed event at 7 p.m., everybody's on time unless something crazy happened. And then you're like, oh shit, your bike tire exploded. That sucks, you know? So I've gotten a lot better about that. I think if I had to pick one thing to kind of like combine a few different things and to funnel it down, I would say like inaction. And that could take many forms. One could be like coworkers of mine who really love to talk the talk, and I'm like, great, you think building community at a school is really important, haven't seen you at any school events. What's that about? Like, that's bullshit, you know? That's just laziness and like stupidity. And I'm like, nah, we're not gonna be friends because that's crazy. Like, it's performative, right? And then I also think like I am a very task-driven person, and I can get myself to do anything, even if it's the most undesirable task in the world, if I like kind of build it into a routine. Like, I can go get my blood drawn for this thing that I have to do, and I don't like getting my blood drawn. If I'm like, okay, today I'm gonna bike to Seattle Public Library, and then I'm gonna do Milk's podcast, and then I'm gonna go get my blood drawn, and then I'm gonna come home and make dinner, like, it'll get done. And I think like similar to the inaction, it's like lack of like task initiation just really gets me. Yeah.
Would you rather let's say like would you rather have your partner be perpetually 15 minutes late for everything or 15 minutes early for everything?
Probably 15 minutes late. Yeah. I mean, it's more socially acceptable.
Shift. It's so much more social. Yeah. I was freaked the fuck out when I showed up 10 minutes early to your house.
And like I remember one time Chris and Furby had us over for, I don't even know if we were eating dinner with them or not, but we were there. Maybe we were gonna go for a toss or Garfield or something. And I like checked my phone. Maker and I walked there from here, which takes about 30 minutes. And I checked my phone and I was like, well, we leave now. We're gonna be like 10 minutes early. And we like walked up the porch, and Chris was like, oh, I didn't realize you guys were coming over. And Furby wasn't even home. Like, that's rough. Yeah. That's rough. Yeah. That's a rough 10-minute early arrival. Like, I was like, oh, we're going to go sit on the... Because, like, lack of social skills also irks me. And that was bad. So, yeah. Yeah.
What's the best party you've ever been to?
Best party. Does our wedding count?
Yeah.
Okay, that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was very fun, and yeah.
Would you describe it
Yeah.
as like, the company, so like, all your closest friends and family,
Yeah.
or like the layout of the events?
I mean, all of it. Like, it was so, because I'm a task completer, it was so intentionally planned, and like, so there's like the two parts of it, right? The alignment of everything that had existed in my brain of like what this day is going to be like the pieces falling into place and like literally watching it happen in real time was like so fucking satisfying to be like, fucking I knew that was gonna, I knew it. That was great. And then, more importantly, seeing all of my friends and family mingling, and people laughing together and dancing together, and having a good time together was like, wow, this is like why people do this shit.
Were there any people that you were hoping would hit it off that did, or like that you?
I mean,
kind of assumed people would get along?
we sat some people kind of strategically. Like, we have a friend from Baltimore. I think she sat near you ish. Her name's Rachel. She's lives in Alabama now, and she's just like a social butterfly, talks to anyone. And like, she was seated by like some, I think it was like Dylan and TY, and maybe like, you and JPH, and I don't know. There were just, and then like some people from Baltimore as well that she knew, and I just, every time I looked over at her, she was talking to people she hadn't known previously, which was very fun. And I had multiple relatives, like my aunts and uncles, come up to me and be like, I just talked to your friend Liz, who's at Hopkins. She's so cool. And I didn't know that you lived with her, and her husband is into cars, and Joe, and I don't know, all these things that was just like a great connection. We sat, our friends Kat and Tanner from Baltimore, with Chris and Furby, and that one of their, I don't know, you guys had like little table prompts on your table that were very curated to the people at the table. And one of their prompts was like, this group of people could like run a community college based on everyone's like skill set. And they were all talking about all of the classes they could teach at the community college, and it's just like,
Okay. So this question is not on my list of questions.
Okay.
But this is the question that I asked a group of friends a while ago, and I loved it. If you were to live on a commune in the woods, what would be your skill set that you'd bring?
I feel like it would be I would be the teacher. I feel like I'd have to be.
You don't have to be, but
I think that's what I would be. Slash like childhood caretaker.
Would you? And you'd want to be?
I think so. I think I would be like, I don't know if I would want to be the nanny full time, but I think in terms of just like education and like social emotional development and that kind of stuff, I think I would be like, I can. We were in Stehekin. Have you been to Stehekin, or do you know where that is? It's like at the end of Lake Chelan, so you can only access it by foot on the trail or by a ferry. I suppose you could helicopter in, but that seems insane. And then they have, like, once you get there, it's a full town. They have paved roads. People have their cars. People have their garden. Like, it's weird. It's like there's nothing, and then it's a town with roads and stuff. And we went to the schoolhouse, which is like a one-room schoolhouse, and it's always been that way. And I was like, in another life, I would be the teacher here. I could totally see that for myself. So, yeah.
When you were crushing it at math and science as a kid, did you think like I could teach this? Like I'd be a math teacher.
Well, my dad's a math teacher, retired, and my mom's a retired elementary school librarian. And I have many relatives on both sides of the family who worked in education, like Tanra, Sarah. Like, I can think just like quickly here in my post 2-shot state, like of 9 people who just were teachers. So I think I resisted it a little bit, and I think speech pathology was a way to like essentially work in education and still be in schools, and because I love public schools, and I think the final downfall of our current society as we know it will be when public schools no longer exist, personally.
Yeah.
Because I think that they are, as my professor in education policy taught me, they are like a true cornerstone of like holding up the American society.
Yeah.
But I think I resisted the idea of being a classroom teacher, and then my mom was like, okay, well, you could be a therapist, you could be a social worker, you could be a school counselor, you could be an occupational therapist, you could be a speech pathologist. There's kind of these like adjacent jobs. And then when I went to college, I took like an intro to speech and language class, and I was like, oh, this is like science. It's very sciencey, but education. Yeah.
Would it be a deal breaker
Oh.
if
How far in are we for our first deal breaker?
well, okay, well, it's time for shot number 3.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna ask this while you're pouring, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay, would it be a deal breaker if
I'm doing brandy now.
if, let's say, you and your partner have a child, and this child reaches like 11 years old, and completely out of the blue,
I'm missing a glass. Oh no, they're right here. Okay.
your partner says, "Hey, Lizzy, like I've been looking around at the public education system in the United States,
Ooh, I know where this is
and I really think that we should send our kid to private school."
Yeah, it's not a deal breaker because at that point we've raised a kid for 11 years, right? Luckily, in my current situation, all of those decisions are going to be defaulted to me anyway, because I'm the one with the expertise in the area.
Yeah, just your judgment.
But I have many friends who have. Glennie is actually one of them, and then I nannied a baby in Baltimore. Oh yeah, we should do this first. Oh, wait, I gotta get my peach ready.
Sure, get you. I'll do blueberry this time. It's probably not going to be as good, but
The peach it kind of hit.
yeah.
Okay.
No, blueberry didn't help. Probably made it worse.
The peach is gone. So I have a friend who I nannied their infant from 3 to 9 months. So I nannied this baby for 6 months. They have an older daughter. And the preschool that they went to was like a Montessori school run through a church. And the summer that I nannied was the summer that the older sister turned 4. And I remember them asking me, like, hey, the preschool that the girl goes to, they offer kindergarten. You know, do you think we should send her there for kindergarten? And I said, at the end of the day, you with your resources and the people that you are and the person that your daughter's going to grow to be, like, that is what public school needs. They need you and your money and your willingness to go to PTA events and like go to breakfasts and tell the principal, like, hey, this is bullshit, you know? These kids are being impacted for this reason. Yeah. Like, that's what public school needs more than anything. And so they've sent her to the public school the Baltimore City public school in their neighborhood. And the girl that I nannied is now like 4, which is fucking crazy. And she'll go there for kindergarten next year. And like, that's, if we all did that instead, it would be so much better. So, yeah.
What's the best compliment you've ever gotten?
Wow. Best compliment. I got a lot of, it's hard to, I don't know. I got a lot of compliments in June when I left my job at Sammamish, just because people were like, you know, this place isn't going to be the same without you, which is super nice. Best compliment. I get really silly when Makar gives me like compliments about how I look. I get kind of like, ooh, you know, like I'm not, maybe the Midwesterners are not the best at taking compliments.
I don't know if I trust people who take those
look
on the
compliments.
chin, you know? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that makes me feel better.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, what's, I know. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. That's not my reaction. My reaction's not I know. That's a good point. And I honestly, if I try to think of someone who reacted that way to a compliment about how they looked, I don't. I can't. I either can't think of someone, or they probably suck. So,
yeah.
best compliment. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna, based on recent memory, I take a lot of pride in my work, and hearing from people, like, you know, what are we going to do without you next year, feels really good. And I also think that there are people who, like, hindsight is 2020, and they don't really realize what it's going to be like. And then October 1st is going to roll around, and they're going to be like, wait, we did this thing last year where we had a staff newsletter that went out, and it was really nice, and the staff got to read about what was going on in the school, and it was a really great way to build community. Is anyone doing that this year? And someone's going to be like, no, Lizzy did that. And then they're going to be like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to be like, gotcha, but also, like, again, you're going to talk the talk. You got to walk the walk, people.
Yeah. To what extent are you still defined by your high school experience?
That's a really good question. Is that one you ask everybody? That's a really good one.
No, it's not. I do like this question a lot.
Yeah. I had a very, very lucky. I've learned that since working at a public high school, especially a public Title I high school. I had a very positive high school experience. And I was not popular, like, by the traditional sense of, like, cool kid, but, like, I was a great student. I was a nice person. Like, I had good friends from, you know, their parents are all good people, and, you know, all these things. So I think high, and I think I'm lucky. I've learned how fucking awful high school can be for people working in a high school, and to realize, like, wow, these things were definitely happening at my high school, and I was just completely privileged and, like, unaware to them. Like, there were kids who wanted to kill themselves, and there were kids who were addicted to drugs, and there were kids whose home situations were absolute shit. Like, and I was just living my happy-go-lucky high school life. But I would say, like, the person that I was in college and grad school and in, like, my career has all, like, been rooted from the fact that, like, I had a really successul, supportive high school experience.
Did you value that at the time? Do you feel like you...
Oh, no. I had no idea.
Okay.
No idea.
Yeah.
And, like, looking back, like, I was involved in the music. Like, I was in band, and then I was in the choir program. And, like, our choir program, like, I have, like, a CD from my senior year of high school, and, like, every once in a while, like, when I lose service, when we're driving around, like, an area to go hiking, I just, like, shuffle Apple Music because I have those songs downloaded, and every once in a while some choral piece will start playing, and so either if I'm alone in the car, I'll be like, oh, or if someone else is in the car, like Sydney was in the car, we went hiking, and a song came on, and she was like, what's this? And I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't Sydney. Whatever. Somebody. And I was like, oh, it's my high school choir. And she was like, that's your high school choir? Like, we were fucking good. Mm-hmm. We were fucking good. And I think, like, at the time, I was just like, yeah, we win every competition we go to, but so what? So what?
I was about to make a joke, like, not Sydney, but Sydney adjacent, maybe.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing as Sydney adjacent?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
If it is.
I don't know.
Tell me about yourself.
Tell me about oh God. How am I supposed to do that, though? Is that a question you ask everybody at this point? Oh, you little sneak. Tell me. I haven't felt embarrassed this whole time, and now I feel embarrassed. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think if core Lizzy principles, I'm going to try to get it to 5.
Not 3, 5.
You want me to do 3?
No, I respect 5.
I just looked at my hand and I was like, well, we're going to do 5.
5 fingers, 5 values.
Yeah, exactly. I think I am inherently, like, being from the Midwest is an inherent core aspect of who I am as a person. I think people from the Midwest are, like, gritty and tough and kind of chase. They're ready for the chase more than I think some other people. And often, if anyone from the Midwest moves away from the Midwest, they're often moving to some place that is a textbook definition of better. It's prettier.
Okay.
It's the work environment is more rigorous. The like people are more assertive. Whatever it might be. And I think the Midwest gets kind of a bad rap in that sense, but I think it makes the people like hungrier, if that makes sense.
Did you feel hungry growing up?
I felt it as soon as I moved away. I was like, oh, I have like this thing inside me that's a little bit more like, I'm gonna go after stuff with more intensity than the people around me. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's 1.
Yeah.
2, I have a huge family. Like, on my mom's side, my mom has 7 siblings, and on my mom's side, I think there's at this point probably like 70 plus people, which is crazy. And it's only growing, because like my cousin's kids are having kids, which is crazy. And I think like I am a family. Something I have learned about myself, especially in the last like 3 years, is that like family is very important to me, and I want to be closer to them, which is why we're moving. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, I think maybe I'm only gonna do 3. See, now that I'm going, I'm like, I think I only have 1 more. I think number 3 is like I don't waste my time. I don't waste my time. I'm not going to waste my time at work. I'm not going to waste my time with friendships. I'm not going to waste my time with like tasks that don't matter. I'm not going to waste my time with people that don't matter. And like, I think some people hear that or see that in me, and then they get kind of like, oh, like I can't be friends with Lizzy, or I can't get close to Lizzy, which sucks. That's not the intention. But I think, like, with every relationship that I have, like, I know, I feel the level of which, like, this person is going to be, like, this level of friend to me. Or we're going to share this level of closeness. And, like, some people, inevitably, are going to have, like, I'm going to have a closer relationship with them, and we're going to spend more time together than others. But that doesn't mean that the relationship that I have with people that I spend less time with doesn't also have value, right? Like, I think, who's a really good example? I'm going to pick a bot person. I think Rudolph's a really good example. So, like, I don't spend my free time with Rudolph very often. Makar and I went over to his place one time with Lido and Emily, and like Lido and Emily and Rudolph and Marie and Makar and I like had dinner together, and we played a board game. And then I think like Rudolph and Marie came over one time, and we maybe like played a board game or something. And and then I think they can't come to our going away party, so we're trying to find a time where we can like get together. And like I spend hours with Sydney and Furby. I spend hours with them. But, like, my relationship with Rudolph is it doesn't have less value than that other relationship. It's just, like, I'm not gonna expel energy to build that other relationship. Like, that relationship with Rudolph is perfect as it is. Just like my relationship with Sydney and Furby is perfect as it is. And I think sometimes people see that as, like, oh, people have favorites, people have preferred friends or whatever it is, and they might feel one way or the other about that, but people need to get over that. I think that would be the takeaway principle. Number 3.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I don't know. I feel like I'm not sure I can like that's how I operate. I feel like I prioritize the people that I really care about, and people kind of fluctuate in and out of that, and that's just like a natural part of life,
Yeah.
at least for me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. At the same time, like I think about some of my very best friends who I've had my entire life, and like we haven't talked in like 8 months.
But like, as soon as you talk, though, you're like,
No,
oh
exactly.
shit, we're right back in it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people let like guilt about not talking to that person, or like, you know, whatever it is, kind of get in the way, and then you're like, oh no, wait a minute. And like, I think if you just think like, what is the maximum amount of effort and like quality time that goes into this relationship having value for me, that I can do, and like for like Sydney and Furby, like for whatever reason, personalities, how our personalities line up, or just like literal like physical proximity to each other, or whatever it is, like for that to have value, I need to put more time into it. And for like my relationship with Rudolph to have value, I don't have to do that, and that's okay. And that's okay. Yeah. I'm gonna have a peach wedge.
All right, we have a few more minutes, but there are 2 more questions that I really want to ask.
Yeah, we're cruising.
This is a question off the cuff.
Ooh.
How has your life changed being married?
Ooh, very little.
And an addendum to that,
Yeah.
because I feel bad about this all the time. How do you feel about when people ask you, like, if you're at like some social event and people are like, oh, where's Makar up today? Like, if Makar's not there,
Yeah.
and people ask like, oh, where's Makar today? Or like,
Can you, if you don't want to, give this away, that's okay, and I'll answer the way I was originally going to answer. I feel like you asked the addendum with like a preconceived notion about how people often feel. Would you be willing to share that, or
yeah, well, I guess for me, it's just like a default question that pops into my head of like, what's something that Lizzy and I can relate to right now? Like, oh, like an easy question I can ask Lizzy right now, because I can't think of anything else to ask Lizzy right now, is like, oh, where's Makar? Where's your partner? Like, where's this person today?
Yeah, I would say my life has changed very little since I've been married, and I think that is because, like, something that I learned in the relationship I had prior to Makar, God, it was terrible. We don't have the time to discuss that. It was not good. Codependent in many, many ways.
From you or them?
So, like, in terms of task initiation and action, he was dependent on me in terms of, like, emotional connection and, like, sex and, like, you know, the things that are kind of inherently the marks of, like, what a good relationship is, romantic relationship is. I was dependent on him. And it just, that was not healthy. It was not good.
The whole time, or did it reach a point where you were like, this sucks?
It went on a lot longer than it should have. That's for sure. Like, I was aware of it a lot longer, and then I should have been like, we need to not be together, but I didn't do that. Anyway, something I learned in that relationship was, like, for me personally, and I think maybe for most people, maybe some advice I would give to others, is like, if my relationship with someone is going to be successful, we need to have flourishing, independent lives. Like, I cannot be my partner's, I can be my partner's best friend. I cannot be my partner's only friend. And I cannot be my partner's, like, I cannot be the only person who gives my partner advice. I cannot be the only person who is willing to go out on the town with my partner. I cannot be the only person who's willing to, like, hang out with my partner when they're feeling down. I cannot, like, that's too much. It's too much.
Be their conduit.
I cannot. And they cannot be my conduit. Like, I need those people who can, like, fill those different roles. And I think, you know, there's been times where, you know, there's some event and I go to it and someone's like, oh, could Makar not come? And I'm just like, oh yeah, he's got his own thing. He's doing his own thing. And there are things that I don't invite him to because his presence detracts from the experience.
Nice.
Like sometimes I don't want him there. You know, like that's not what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's similar for him. Like he has things that he really, really, really likes to do, and he knows that like if Lizzy comes, it's gonna be a different vibe. And sometimes he wants that, and sometimes he doesn't want that. And like, not offended. Mm-hmm. We're not offended, and we're not. Yeah, I feel he's like perfect. I mean, he's crazy and silly and like insane in many ways, but for this, it's perfect. Yeah.
I feel the same way. I literally just broke up with a potentially burgeoning relationship because she did tell me like, oh, I have like a history of codependence.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah, it was crazy that it went on for as long as it did. And I think it was just because I was codependent. Like I was like, wow, but the sex is so good. Like why would I break up with this guy? Mm-hmm. You know? Oof.
Well, okay. So this last question maybe might be related, maybe not. Who's someone you used to have, and it doesn't have to be the last question, but who's someone that you used to have a crush on, and you thought they were the one for you, and you were devastated when it didn't work out, and now you realize that you haven't thought about them in years?
Ooh, okay, so I have an answer for everything up until the last bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I think about them a lot. Mm. Yeah. And I think that's the right... Do you want me to answer it with the haven't thought about... Because I have two different answers, I guess.
You can interpret it however you want. I would love both examples.
Yeah, okay.
I think they're both valid.
Okay, I'm going to do the first example is the one that includes your entire question, which is the haven't thought about them in years.
Okay.
High school boyfriend, first kind of real boyfriend, real boyfriend in the sense that we were like, we're going to date and it's cute and, we're together.
Well, let's not, diminish that. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally.
Like, did you genuinely like care for this person? Or did
yeah.
you kind of feel like, oh yeah, I'm in high school, I should date?
Yeah. So I had like a boyfriend. It's okay. So names. His name is Josh. Okay. So I had a boyfriend prior to him named James. J names. 10th grade me would have been like, I can't date people whose names start with J. Anyway. And James was like, had moved to town, went to my church, like, I kind of knew him before other people knew him because he went to my church. He was, nice, whatever. And then he was like my first kiss and, all these things. So I had experience with like crushes and dating, quote unquote, someone. This kid, Josh, went to high school, spring of freshman year of high school. I start to like notice that I have this crush on my, he was a sophomore, he's a year older than me. And I was like, oh, I kind of like him. He was in band with me. Both played the saxophone.
Arguably one of the sexiest.
Oh, sure, yeah. I'll take that.
Which is, I'm sure, why you picked it up in the first place.
yeah. As a sixth grader.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, he was older than me. We didn't have any classes together except band, so it was like this thing to look forward to.
He's like 9 months older than me, so older guy.
Yeah, and we just kind of hit it off, and like it was very silly. It was honestly very Makar like very silly, very fun, very like great in a lot of ways. And then he started befriending another girl, and I was like, what is going on? Like, why is he hanging out with this girl Paula so much? And then like he was like, we should break up, and then he started dating Paula. So of course I was just like, oh my god, my life is over. And then now it's more than 15 years later, and I I think about him every once in a while because he still lives in my hometown, but he married one of my sister's close friends from high school.
But not Paula.
But not Paula. And Bridget is the person he married. I love Bridget. She's so cool. So happy for them. And like I've probably, bumped into him a few times when I've been back home, and like very amicable and, whatever. But yeah, don't think about him. But I was, how old are you? 15? Oh my gosh, talk about a transformative time. I mean, I was just in it. Okay, and then the other example reigns true for your entire question until you get to the part hasn't thought about them in years.
Yeah.
Because I think about them all the time. So is my college boyfriend named Matt. Fun Seattle connection. Do you know? I know you know who Sam Stearns is.
Yeah.
Do you know who Alex Zog is?
No.
Okay. So I feel like we both moved here at a similar time to like I feel like you and I and Maker have a similar Seattle Frisbee trajectory, in the sense that like, when did you actually move here?
April or May 2022.
Yeah, so we moved August 2022, but I feel like in terms of league, like Beach Owls,
Yeah.
and like
We met
club.
at Golden Gardens.
Yeah, we met at Golden Gardens.
Like a few days later, maybe, that
Yeah.
we were on the beach house together.
Yeah. So like we have a very similar Frisbee timeline here. Alex Zog went to college with me, and he's from Chicago, and he went to Madison in Wisconsin, and he is really, really, really good at Frisbee. He was on Pegasus, but the year we moved here, that fall, 2022, I think was the last year he played club. Because his partner does not play Frisbee, and I think she was like, your life is this thing, and it's not my thing, and I would like to do other things. I would like to travel, and I would like to do other things, which is real. It's a real thing.
It's a real deal breaker.
It's a
question.
I mean, I don't know if it's a deal breaker. I think, and maybe he played in 2023. I don't totally remember. But he was on the first ever Frisbee team I played on. He was on. It was a beer league, summer beer league in Madison, Wisconsin. Great time. You got to play your game, and then if you had your shirt on, your jersey, you got to go to this chain of bars, and you got to be like, we played our game, and then you had a punch card, and you got 2 pitchers of beer for your team. I mean, it was great. It was a great time.
Yeah.
That was my introduction to Frisbee. And yeah, he was on my team, and he was just like a very nice person, and I was like, okay, cool, this guy's cool. He's on my league team, and then so that was summer of, I don't know, sophomore year, so that would have been summer of 2014 maybe. Next year rolls around, summer of 2015, and he brings this guy with him, Matt, to our like league thing. And my memory of him, he was like, I don't really like big buff guys, and I remember him being like grossly buff, like kind of like off-putting buff. I've since learned that at the time him and Zog were doing the like whole milk chicken breast diet or whatever the hell that was. There was like a phase of that where like people just drank whole milk and ate chicken breasts and like lifted all the time.
Yeah. Somehow I feel about that.
Yeah. Ridiculous. So I remember like meeting this guy Matt and being like, oh, okay, there's something going on. But he was bulking. And I was like, okay, I didn't know enough about anything at the time to understand what was happening. But I was just like, okay, you seem also fun and nice because you're friends with this other fun and nice guy. Okay, and then they cut, right? Because apparently that's how you do this thing. You drink whole milk and then you cut.
I was going to ask if he was cut or still bulking.
No, he was bulking at that initial meeting, and I didn't make a good impression. Right. And then he cut, and then I met him again, and I was like, oh, you're hot. Like, now that you're not looking like that, like, yeah. I'm into you. Okay, so he was on my league team, and I asked him out on a date.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't waste my time. I don't have time to waste. Asked him on a date. Our first day we went Inside Out in theaters. Ooh. So great.
Did you cry?
Oh yeah, and he did too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good sign.
Yeah, good sign.
Yeah.
And then we went for a walk, went to like a playground, went on the swings, just like had a very like whimsical first date. Yeah, and then we started dating. We dated from like, August-ish, September-ish of my, what would that have been, my senior year? Yeah, my senior year of college through the new year. So like a pretty short relationship now that I look back on it. And yeah, I loved him. Like I honestly, if I saw him, I have not seen him since we broke up, which is kind of crazy considering we went to and I got really close with Zog, and I got really close with his friends, and like, we spent a lot of time together as like a bigger group. He got really close with like my best friend Lauren, who lives in Minneapolis. Like she like she knows him, like she knows who he is, because we all just got really close. Like 100% like thought that I was like, this is my life. This is my college boyfriend. I'm a senior. I'm gonna go to grad school. I'm gonna get a job. We're gonna get married. Like this is like my life.
Did you guys talk about it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He came to lacrosse. He met my parents. Like we had a weekend in lacrosse. He, like we did the whole thing. I went to Chicago. He's from Zog and him went to high school together. So went to Chicago. I met his dad. I met his parents are separated, but met his dad and his dad's new wife and their kids. And I met his mom and the family cabin and all the, I met all these people. Lost my virginity to him. Like it was a whole like thing. And yeah, it was just like, I was so happy, and I was like, oh, this is so great. I'm so glad my life is all planned out. Easy. Check. And yeah, and then New Year's rolled around, and he got kind of weird. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, are you, he had gone home to visit his friends, and there was like a picture of him on social media with some girl he went to high school with, and I was like, oh, are you hooking up with her? Like what is happening? Like if something's off, I'm not wasting my time, so like tell me. I very much confronted him, and I was like, tell me what's going on. And he just kind of like, I was disappointed. He just kind of like botched it. Like he didn't really say, like I had to be the one to say the words, I think we should break up, which I think is such bullshit, because I didn't want to break up.
Yeah.
But like you put me in a situation where you're not giving me anything and you're not communicating, so I guess we have to break up.
Did you feel like he was like kind of purposely
Oh yeah.
being shitty in order to make you break up?
Yes, 100%. 100%. So that sucked. It was terrible. I was miserable. I remember I have never talked to my mom about relationship stuff, ever. Like, even with Makar, I've barely talked to her about it. And I remember after that conversation, I, walked to a park in Madison and, called my mom, and I was just crying on the phone to my mom. It was terrible. And took a long time, all of grad school. I was like, oh, good thing I'm going to grad school, and I'm going to be an indentured servant in a town I've never lived in, Minneapolis, because I don't know anybody, and I can just, bury myself in school to try to forget about this person. And then I was not healthy, and so I sent him an email to circle back to sending emails. I sent him an email. I think it was probably maybe March, so it had been over a year since we broke up. Over a year since we broke up. And what I had done is every time I wanted to talk to him, I had journaled. And so I had this kind of collage of stuff. Yeah. And when I sent the email, I dated things. So I was December 1st, 20, whatever. I was I wrote this thing to you. And then, January 15th, I wrote this thing to you. I kind of had these pieces. And I sent him this email. And I just was I can't think about you anymore. It's too much, and it sucks, and this is awful, and all these things. And I called out a bunch of behaviors that I did that I thought were bad, and I called out a bunch of things he did that were bad. I told him, I'm pissed at you for making me say we should break up. I said all these things, and I thought there was no way in hell he was gonna respond. I was there's no way this guy's gonna respond. He responded 2 months later, and he it was very obvious that he put effort into the response, and he said a lot of, it was very clear that he had processed things and learned things and all this stuff. And yeah, he responded, and I still haven't seen him. I never responded again. Like, it's not like we've had a back and forth. I think there might have been like when I eventually got an Instagram, we might have like friended each other for a while. And then I was like, he doesn't post anything, I'm just going to delete this, because I just end up like searching for his name and I don't like that, or, something like that. Yeah, but like if I saw him, like if he walked through this park right now, I would legitimately get up and run over and give him a huge hug. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like he, acknowledgement and like care and I don't know if it was accountability in this email he sent you.
I think somewhat, yeah. Personal accountability, yeah.
But if anything, just like, taking it to heart, like that means a lot. Like,
yeah.
Hey, here's how I still feel. Yeah.
And I think like that like long saga from, seeing him when he's all bulked up and being like, ew, to the email being sent, like that, the version of Lizzy sitting here doesn't get here without that, right? Like, I learned so much from all of that. And I learned, like, people aren't, like, I think what the, like, takeaway was, like, I can forgive this person, but I'm not gonna, like, forget the like positives that came from it. And I think that's true of like why I don't feel stressed when I move places, because like I'm like, I can forget the stuff that was like, yeah, whatever, or forgive the stuff that was like, oh, I didn't love that thing about living in Seattle, or I didn't love this or that, but like the being here with the people here like make me who I am when I show up in Minneapolis and meet new people and they're like, wow, you're so cool, and I'm like, I know, it's because I've had all these cool experiences.
Yeah. Do you have time for one more question?
Always. I have nowhere to be. You're the one going to the zoo.
I am the one to the zoo. Okay. Are you always yourself?
Is this when you ask everybody?
No.
Okay. I would say very close to 100% of the time, but probably not 100% of the time. Actually, my card's saying that I'm a Gryffindor. I think the Gryffindor side of me is not myself. I have a side of me that's very brave, which is one of the Gryffindor qualities. Very cunning, or no, cunning is Slytherin. That's a big part of who I am. I think it's like, yeah, bravery is the core like Gryffindor principle, and I think that is a persona that I have that I can put on when I need to put it on, especially at work. There are situations at work with, parents who have raised a kid with a disability, and I don't know what that's like, and that is hard, and whatever, but at the end of the day, like, don't treat me like shit. Like, I can't deal with you treating me like shit. Like, I see your kid every day. I'm here to support your kid. You treating me like shit is not okay, in my opinion. And I think in that sense, that's where like the bravery comes out. But it is a character that I put on for that moment and like kind of to protect my other self. And it's not like my default way of being. And I really have to, like, my coworker and I, Patrick, he's a school psychologist at the high school. We like have talked about how when we have these meetings approaching, we actually both do this thing where when we're driving home, we like are talking out loud in the car, like practicing what we would say to the parent when they say something like, oh, you don't care about my kid. Like, so I can practice. And like, if I was truly myself in that moment, I wouldn't need to practice, right? So I think most of the time I am always myself, but there's some instances where like I have to put on a little bit of a character and I have to kind of disassociate from, because again, like the true innate me is someone who can see that person and be like, damn, like, I don't know what your life's like. It must have been so hard getting this kid to 18 and like high school graduation. Like, that sucks. But in that moment, if you're looking me in the eye and saying I don't care about your kid, like, I can't see you in that way. I need to like put on a character and like be brave, essentially, you know, because it's just like, it's not okay. It's not okay. At the end of the day, it's not okay to talk to somebody. So, yeah.
I think it's very generous of you to make that, to try to be that person for parents who are not doing the same for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like, that's how you win the conversation. Like, and that's the thing that Patrick and I have decided, and that's the thing that I'm going to miss the most, is like, at the end of the day, the thing I'm going to miss the most about my leaving my job here is Patrick in that way, because like, it's hard to imagine ever having a coworker who like we have that understanding with each other, because like, he very easily could just let me handle it, right? Like, he could, in that moment when that's happening, he could just be like, that's on her. Like, she's the one who's gonna have to deal with this question. And like, neither of us do that. We both like insert ourselves into the other person's thing to make sure that the other person is not the one like bearing the brunt of that. And it's hard so that's a working relationship that I don't know if I'll ever have again. So that's tough to leave behind, but it'll be okay.
Not a bad sentiment to leave Seattle on, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I'll never meet anyone again like this.
Oh yeah, totally. And there's multiple people like that. Yeah, you included. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a good time. And we, luckily, as you've learned from my core tenets, I have no doubt in my ability to maintain long-term friendships. So you will get random information or calls or requests for visits or whatever it might be, from me and Makar. So don't you worry.
Cool. Well, Lizzy, thanks for joining the Nick and Friends podcast.
Yeah. It was a treat.
Cool.
I'm a little concerned with the level of alcohol I've consumed, but we emptied 2 bottles, which in terms of moving is a real win.
Hey, I was just trying to help you out with the booze.
Yeah, all we have left is a little bit of, I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Do you think you'll listen back to it, or are you like one and done?
I kind of want to send it to people.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure some people I've done this with have been like, yeah, I like enjoyed that, and like I want to share it.
I mean, in my drunken, confident state, I'm like, send it to Glennie, send it to Matt, like let them listen to it and be like, wow, this person that I, yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lee. That was great.